United States just lost the shipbuilding war. China builds destroyers faster than we build arguments. 350 warships against our 290. The math is ugly. The attrition calculator doesn't lie. If this turns into a ship-for-ship slugfest, we lose. But losing doesn't mean surrender. It means changing the rules. Reveal. Deliberate. This is the Mining Expendable Delivery Unmanned Submarine Asset, MEDUSA. It's 21 inches wide, fits inside a standard torpedo tube, and it was built to solve a problem the Navy won't say out loud. What if the answer isn't sinking their fleet, but trapping it? Let's be honest about the threat. China doesn't just have more ships, they have more shipyards, more cranes, more steel, more political will to keep building. Contrast: in the time it takes the United States to build one Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, China launches 3, sometimes 4. We have 4 shipyards that can build large warships. 4. They have an entire industrial coastline, and they've built something else: a protective bubble, anti-access, area denial systems, sensors on the seabed, low-frequency active sonar that bounces sound off submarine hulls, fishing trawlers with acoustic processors hidden in the hull, military-civil fusion. Every boat becomes a sensor. For 50 years, American submarines operated alone and unafraid. Now, the moment a U.S. submarine fires a weapon, it reveals its location. And in these shallow waters, detection equals death. So here's the strategic nightmare. We cannot win a war of attrition against a fleet this size, and we cannot get close enough to fight without dying. Think about what that means operationally. A Virginia-class submarine carries roughly 40 weapons: torpedoes, tomahawks, harpoons, 40 shots, against a fleet of 350 warships. Even if every single weapon finds its target, even if there are 0 misses, 0 intercepts, 0 malfunctions, you've damaged 11% of their fleet. And now you're out of ammunition, and they know exactly where you are, because the moment you fired, you painted a bullseye on your hull. The old playbook is dead, but China has a problem: geography, and it's not a small problem. It's existential. To reach the open Pacific, to threaten Guam, to blockade Taiwan, to establish sea control beyond their coastal waters, to project power beyond the first island chain, every single ship in that 350-vessel fleet must pass through one of 3 choke points: the Luzon Strait, 220 miles wide; the Miyako Strait, 150 miles; the Taiwan Strait, 80 miles. These aren't abstract geographic features, they're fatal constraints, and all 3 are shallow. The South China Sea averages less than 600 feet deep. The East China Sea, even shallower in most areas. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run deep, nowhere to use the ocean's natural sound channels to disappear. A submarine in deep water can dive below thermal layers of temperature difference that bend sonar waves, effectively becoming invisible. In shallow water, you're exposed. Modern submarine detection ranges in shallow water over 300 miles. Active sonar can flood an entire strait with sound, bounce it off every object, map everything. A single submarine positioned correctly can monitor the entire choke point, not just monitor, control, because any surface ship trying to pass through is blind to what's below. And 60% of China's fleet is stationed in the South China Sea and East China Sea fleets, concentrated in just a handful of naval bases: Qingdao, Zhanjiang, Yulin, Ningbo. All of them behind the choke points, concentrated, predictable, forced to use the same exits every time. There are no alternate routes. You can't sail a destroyer overland. Every major naval operation, every deployment to the Pacific, every response to a Taiwan crisis requires transiting one of these 3 straits. The United States learned this lesson 80 years ago. During World War II, the Pacific Campaign wasn't about sinking the Japanese fleet in open battle. It was about controlling the islands. Control the islands, control the passages, control the passages, control the fleet. Tarawa, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. Every island taken was a choke point denied. Every passage controlled was a supply line severed. And the Japanese fleet, massive at the start of the war, withered. Not because it was destroyed in combat, because it was trapped, starved of fuel, starved of supplies, unable to operate. China spent 20 years building the world's largest navy, inside a bottle, and the US just found the cork. But here's the complication. Corking the bottle used to mean suicide. For decades, offensive mining meant one thing: fly a bomber into enemy airspace, drop mines, hope you survive. Most didn't. In 1972, the US mined Haiphong Harbor to cut off North Vietnam's supply lines. Operation Pocket Money. It worked. North Vietnamese shipping ground to a halt within days, but it required flying B-52s through surface-to-air missile batteries, through MiG patrols, through interlocking air defense zones designed to kill exactly this kind of mission. Pilots died, aircraft were lost, and the North Vietnamese knew exactly when the mines were laid, because they watched the bombers fly overhead. No surprise, no deniability. The Navy tried submarines. The Mark 67 submarine-launched mobile mine, introduced in 1983, essentially a converted Mark 37 torpedo with the warhead replaced by a mine, single mine, Limited range, maybe 20 miles on a good day, which meant the submarine still had to get dangerously close. Close enough to risk detection, close enough to risk counter-battery fire from coastal defenses, close enough that if anything went wrong, if the launch was detected, if a patrol craft was in the wrong place, the submarine was trapped in shallow water with nowhere to run. MEDUSA is the evolution. It's not a mine, it's a delivery vehicle. It carries multiple smart mines, places them with surgical precision, terrain-aided navigation. The vehicle maps the ocean floor in real time, compares it to an onboard database, corrects for drift. It knows where it is, down to the meter. Precision. MEDUSA resets at geographic checkpoints, surgical placement, every time. The host submarine stays 200 miles offshore, deep water, safe, undetected. MEDUSA transits alone, using thermal layers to hide, adjusting speed to minimize noise. It's not trying to get there fast, it's trying to get there invisible. It reaches the target, plants the minefield, and keeps going, because it's expendable. Contrast, a $3 billion submarine doesn't risk itself, a $5 million drone does. Impact, one torpedo tube, one mission, an entire harbor denied. Here's what makes this terrifying. These aren't the dumb pressure mines of World War II. They're networked, remote control, target selective. To control, the submarine can activate them, deactivate them, scuttle them, all from hundreds of miles away. Allied warships pass through safely. Enemy warships trigger the network. Technical menace. The mines can be programmed to recognize specific propeller signatures, specific engine types, specific hull classifications. Some of these mines are encapsulated torpedoes. They don't wait to be hit, they hunt. But because they suspected mines were there, quiet truth. Suspicion is a weapon, and MEDUSA delivers industrial-scale suspicion, uncertainty. The moment a Chinese destroyer captain knows, or even suspects, that smart mines are waiting in the channel, he stops moving, because the risk calculation changes. Is the mission worth losing a billion-dollar destroyer to a $5 million mine? And a fleet that doesn't move isn't a navy, it's a museum. This isn't about technology superiority, it's about geographic reality. Final synthesis. China spent 20 years building a fleet that can't escape its own coast. The United States spent $58 million on a robot that makes sure they never forget it. 4 prototypes are already being tested. Integration with the submarine fleet is underway. By the early 2030s, every American submarine could carry this capability. MEDUSA doesn't win by destroying, it wins by containing, by turning China's defensive advantage into an offensive prison. Because in modern war, power isn't what you build, it's what still works when the choke points close.